Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's episode of Intuitive Angling. And man, I really appreciate you guys coming by the channel and spending some of your day with me. Really appreciate that. And guys, I don't want to make anybody mad in this video, but I'm going to make the case in this particular episode why many, in fact, most of the top level tournament anglers today, the people that you read about and you see all the time on the Elite Series and the Bass Pro Tour, they could not compete without LiveScope and forward-facing sonar. I'm going to lay it out. I'm going to explain to you guys why that is. And the reason I want to do this is I am a staunch defender of the traditional bass fishing skills and of professional bass fishing in general. And in my opinion, professional bass fishing, in order to rise to that level, you have got to go through a series of steps, and you have sort of got to put in your dirt time in order to be able to compete at that top level. And technology has ruined that. And I want to explain to you why that is, and I'm going to make the case why I don't think that these guys could compete without it. So we're going to get into that in today's episode. Also, guys, I want to show you, real quick before we get started, I want to show you one really cool bait for summertime boat dock fishing you guys might want to try. This is that Megabass Vatalion. It's like a hybrid swim bait, crankbait. Guys, take this thing. I'll put my Tackle Warehouse link in the description if you guys want to pick one up. Take this Vatalion. The bluegill pattern is my favorite. It looks just like a bluegill swimming through the water. Throw this thing next to the boat dock corners and edges and down the side of the boat dock, and even pitch it like in the slips. Just reel it with like a medium retrieve, and the thing just goes through the water like a crankbait. And guys, those bass in the summertime that live in the shade of those boat docks, they will hammer this thing, because if you've ever walked out on a boat dock before, you can see bluegills swimming everywhere just under the surface on docks because they're feeding on the minnows that are feeding on the plankton and algae off the floats. But anyway, guys, give that a try. The Megabass Vatalion, link in the description there. I really appreciate that. Okay, let's get in. I've been wanting to do this for a long time because I have seen the last 2 or 3 years with the advent and the complete takeover of forward-facing sonar, the deterioration in traditional bass fishing skills, and the dirt time and the amount of work that it has taken in the past to rise to the top level, that people have gotten there now with a shortcut of technology. Okay, now here's one of the things here's one of the analogies I want to draw to this, and then I'm going to explain to you why I feel like this. Everybody knows what forward-facing sonar does. It allows people to see fish that they normally never would have been there before, and it allows you to see, find, and cast and catch the bass in live imaging technology, where you can manipulate those fish. You can see how they're reacting to your lure. You don't pay attention to anything in the entire realm of fishing except to that screen to see how that fish is reacting to your lure. Now, and people think that it's okay. It's a bunch of crap. Now, this would be the same thing. Let me equate this to like professional golf. Let's say, for example, professional golf came out with a piece of technology, just like LiveScope is the technology that has ruined fishing. Let's say the PGA Tour has somebody developed this piece of technology, this video AI or whatever you do, where you were lined up with a putt, right? So you're standing over your putt, and the only thing you have to do, you don't even have to look at the distance, you don't have to look at anything, you don't have to look at the slope of the green. All you have to do is line this putter up, and you manipulate it with whatever intelligence that the unit has, and it guides you on where to putt. It shows you exactly where to putt, and it shows you exactly the speed that you putt at, and you make the putt every time. You know, it's just 99% success rate. This is what forward-facing sonar has done to bass fishing, because the same skills in bass fishing that you used to have to master these traditional, seasonal patterns and movements in order to compete. You don't have to have that now. All you have to be able to do is look at the screen. It would be the same way in golf. Traditional golfing skills and the top level golf anglers, they had to read the lay of the green, the angle of the green, the slope of the green. They had to understand how the grass was laying. They had to understand what type of grass it was. They had to understand the moisture content in the grass and the humidity and how that slowed down or sped up your putt. All this stuff was an accumulation of just countless rounds of playing over and over again to be able to read that green, to make that putt. And now this technology now allows you just to, make that putt without any knowledge of that whatsoever. This is what LiveScope has done to bass fishing. It has taken that hard-earned skill out of the sport. Now, let's talk a little bit about, the naysayers on this, the people that say, the one that cracks me up more than anything else, guys, is I hear all the time, the people that defend this, they say, well, these guys are good, these young anglers are good, they do just as good without forward-facing sonar. Guys, that is the biggest bunch of BS. Now, I'm not saying they can't throw a plastic worm by a boat dock and catch a fish. I'm not saying they can't pick up a wigglework crankbait and throw it down a rocky bank and catch a fish. But when you're talking about, if you took away that technology, the majority of the top anglers today over the past 2 or 3 years that have consistently been in the top 10 or top 20 in Angler of the Year, those anglers got there through the AAA level circuits and the Bassmaster Opens by using forward-facing sonar. That's how they got there. And they're also young. Most of them are in their 20s. You're seeing the lowering of the average age of professional angler now down into the 20s. 10 or 15 years ago, the average age of a pro angler was close to 40, and now it's closer to 20 than it is to 40, and all those anglers were on technology. So when somebody tries to make the case that these anglers would do just as good without it, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Because if you were raised using forward-facing sonar, and that's your game, and you go to every tournament and you look for forward-facing sonar fish, and you've gotten to where you are in the sport today through forward-facing sonar, whether it be in the Opens or the success you've had, on the Elite Series or the Bass Pro Tour, you do not have the experience that's necessary to find the fish through traditional bass fishing means without technology. Because, let me give you an example here. Let's talk about flipping and pitching, for example. If you spend all of your time on forward-facing sonar, you don't understand the subtleties of pitching and flipping. You don't understand how bass react to different lure profiles and different lure weights and the correlation between line size and the fall rate. And you don't understand how different skirt materials and different colors intersect with water clarities and sunlight conditions and light penetration. And you don't understand the necessary skills to understand how fish position within certain type of cover based upon current and wind, water temperature, sun angle, all this type of stuff, guys. It takes decades to learn. And if you're a 20-year-old LiveScoper that has spent 5 years fishing tournaments and you spent most of those 5 years using LiveScope, you don't have any idea what I just talked about. You can't, I can tell you, I could come up with a bass fishing quiz of 100 questions about how to fish traditional bass fishing techniques and how to locate fish and how to, understand fish movement behavior. I guarantee 99% of the Elite Series pros and 99% of the Bass Pro Tour pros that are under 30 years old will fail my test. You can't, because when you try to tell them, it's like, okay, here it is. We got water temperature, whatever. And we've got this rocky bank right here. And I described the rocky bank, the angle of it, the water clarity, the time of year, the type of fish there, the characteristics of the lake. You tell me the best square bill crankbait to throw. You tell me if it's a 1.2, if it's a 1.5, if it's a 2.5, if it's a 3.0. You tell me what type of color pattern. Is it a perch pattern? Is the blackback chartreuse? Does the chartreuse need to be bright? Does it need to be faded? Does the shad pattern need to be pearl white or translucent? Based upon all these variables, you can't answer that question because you haven't done it. Those guys have not spent decades understanding how that works. So there's no way that you can take traditional bass fishing skills without technology. Let's say, for example, their GPS is taken away from them. All of their electronics are taken away from them. All they have is like a flasher on their boat. So therefore, they have to figure out how to catch bass only using a flasher, not knowing anything about the contour or the topographic of a lake. There's no way they can do it. You cannot tell me that you can do that. That'd be like telling somebody that, you can, just because you can brush your teeth, that you know how to be a dentist or something. You don't have the experience to be a dentist, even though that you may know a lot about how to brush your teeth. So it just, like I said, I don't have any patience for these people out there that say today's crop of anglers would do just as good without it, because they don't. Because when they say that, they disrespect the sport. They disrespect the traditional aspect of the sport that requires commitment and time on the water and learning and understanding fish movement, fish personality, fish behavior, moods and personality of the fish. In order to honor the sport and to show respect to the sport, to show respect to the bass, to show respect to everybody that's been into the sport before, if you cannot corrupt that by using technology to get there in a shortcut. And that's what we've done today, guys. We've allowed a segment of the bass anglers in this country that are tech savvy to cut every shortcut and to basically, slide into the positions of success within the tournament realm that they simply don't deserve it. And I don't mean to say that to be mean to those people or try to belittle them, because I'm confident if you have a love and a desire and a passion to be a tournament fisherman, you're going to get there even if you didn't have forward-facing sonar. So these anglers, what I'm saying is that if you took forward-facing sonar and technology away from them, I'm not saying they could not be professional anglers, but it's going to take them a long time. It's going to take them a decade to learn those skills. They're not going to learn it in 2 or 3 years by just turning that unit on. So until we can get back to that state where the time-honored traditions of what it takes to be a professional angler are honored, our sport is going to continue to be diminished. And it has already been diminished unbelievably just over the past couple years. So anyway, let me know what you guys think, and we'll talk later.